Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Tomych, and I'm CEO at DashDevs. And today you are listening to the Fintech Garden News Harvest, where we're presenting three selected news from the financial industry, which are happening globally. With me today, Dumitru. Hello, Dumitru.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dumitru Condrea, CEO of Novafin. Happy to see you all here. Happy to see you, Igor, here. Yes, we selected three news, which, by the way, are very interesting and very good one. This week was absolutely good and productive in good news.
Yeah, we're in the first weeks of spring, and that seems that have a positive effect for the financial industry. And the first news, it's outstanding license approval for the Revolut. I think that's the biggest news that you will hear from anywhere this week. It's a long story because initially Revolut started as an MEI license in United Kingdom, and it seems that it was really long road for them to get an approval for full retail banking license, although they applied for one in 2024. And usually the process takes about a year. And last summer, we heard the news that there is no approval and the sandbox or regulatory overview is still in progress. And basically this week, page of the Revolut informed that actually they received the full banking approval. And starting from this week, they're operating as a high street bank. It means that they will be able to provide more business models and financial instruments to their customers.
Besides providing services, much more services and features and so on, they can provide much more guarantees and insurance for their customers that everything will be okay. As you already mentioned, yes, they worked under banking license in a sandbox mode. That gave them a possibility to fix all the issues that Bank of England, FCA, and other regulators raised up. But it's just a final happy ending of this saga with Revolut. And it's so interesting that Revolut started from England, from United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom is the last where in Europe, continental Europe, the western side of Europe, where they receive a license. Revolut started in England, Revolut developed in England, first customers were there in the United Kingdom. Revolut came to Europe from United Kingdom. Brexit, by the way, was one of the steps that helped them, Revolut, to increase their presence in European Union as a political system. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that the United Kingdom is the last who offering them license. But I'm wishing a lot of success and good luck to Revolut because they earned this. They are providing a really good service. And Revolut was one of players on the market who shaped and changed the market a lot. Now it's time to think about where Revolut will be next 2, 3, 4 years from now, having full banking license in the United Kingdom. I think by sure we'll see a lot of opportunities for Revolut where they will come with different new features. They will embed a lot of traditional finance or traditional bank services that are still offline, mostly used offline. They'll embed it in online, in a virtual bank. And possibly we'll have some kind of a super app. Well, Revolut already is a super app, but possibly it will be a bigger super app. So if you think Revolut will look a little bit different than for example, my expectations, my thoughts, just write in comments, how do you see Revolut in 3-4 years from now?
And I would like to add and reflect one interesting point because if you would travel in 2015, most of the banks in United Kingdom, they competing each one from another because in the market, the Starling Bank was one of the first to aim for the digital banking. And then some people who left Starling, they actually started Monzo. The competition was around, we are doing the businesses in United Kingdom. And since I assume Revolut was limited as an MEI entity, I think it's influenced a lot the expansion to other regions. So I would like to reflect and maybe acknowledge that sometimes limitations is the potential driver of the growth because they had to develop new business models. They had to experiment with other regions. They moved to Singapore for the wallets. They started with the Lithuania license, if I'm not mistaken. And right now they're seeking the full banking license in France, which is showing that if you know your strengths, but also you acknowledge your weaknesses, you are then can convert them into the competitive advantage. And that's a good sign that they overcome those weakness points and they still developing. And I think they're going to be one of the biggest global bank in next decades.
And let's move to the second news, also related to a giant, but now a global giant. It's related to Stripe. So Stripe announced that they are ready to roll out stablecoin usage in payment-related activities and settlement activities for stable coins. And they are ready to roll out this option and possibility for over than 100 countries. Things that will help Stripe to be faster in doing cross-border transactions, even if right now it's not a big deal, but cross-border transactions with using stable coins and blockchain is absolutely a very interesting thing that just minimize the cost, minimize the time, take out a lot of people from companies from the scheme of transfers of money. This can revolutionize the market, because it seems like other payment operators, payment service providers, payment orchestrations, acquirers, they will start to do the same. Stable coins will not be something like a thing for freaks or for those who do something illegit. The single thing what remains here is that authorities, public authorities, fiscal authorities from different countries start to work and understand how it's working, because companies would like to declare those assets. And it can be an issue, but it's absolutely great step forward.
And that's true. And once again, reflecting back, last year during the Stripe events in San Francisco, Stripe declared that they acquired Bridge, which is kind of the locomotive for moving the stablecoins into the payment infrastructure. Recently, we discussed the news that Bridge is actually applying for United States charter bank license. And it shows that it's no longer something which is, as Dima said, freaky. It's not the question of pioneers are using it, becomes the mass market. And the mass market is playing different rules. You cannot play against the mass market. Everyone is jumping into the last wagon of the blockchain story with the stable coins. And this one, once again, shows that it's becoming the global instrument. And for me personally, I think it's a good choice, because having an ability to choose from the fiat rails, fiat accounts, having an ability to operate within the blockchains, which are legal, which are having the proper licensing modes from regulators as a MiCA, as a CASP, it actually gives good variety for the clients, more platforms, more client-oriented services, and more flexibility for the customers. So that's a great step. I would love to see more development in this area. And the third news for today is really interesting for me, because I've used to do a lot of business in London, and still that's my preferable destination for the fintechs. It's pretty great to hear that actually London overtakes San Francisco and New York as a top fintech hub. The hedge fund says. In this case, the total investments in London into the fintechs is nearly $40 billion, which is a great number. And it shows that appetite is quite strong in the European Union and in the United Kingdom into the innovations into the fintechs. I think one of the driver, which is potentially here, is understanding that we are living in fast-changing world, and relying on the technologies from overseas not the best way to make sure that your sovereignty and all the local business is doing fine. So some impulses are coming from the recent developments in the world, and I think that shows a good appetite from funds to invest into the technologies which are facilitating the domestic payments, which are enabling sovereign infrastructure for the payments instruments. And it's really great to hear that. What do you think about that, Dumitru?
First of all, if we will see how many conferences, fintech conferences are organized in London, you can understand that London is one of the global capital for fintech companies and fintech initiatives. Secondly, London was, for Europe, continental Europe, was a fintech capital. This was the city with the biggest amount of fintech startups and fintech company registered. Now it overthrown San Francisco, which is a huge signal. First of all, for everybody who's doing fintech, London just became city a must to visit. So you just have to go there to meet people, spend some weeks there if you want to develop your business there, and you want to develop business in fintech per general. Secondly, it means that the economy of the United Kingdom will have a big increase because of this impact. The impact of presence of fintech companies in London, economy of United Kingdom per general will have a lot of things to win, because a lot of initiatives will come from there, which means there will be pioneers, which means that they will have a lot of companies will start to provide services, United Kingdom companies. A lot of UK companies will start to provide services for European Union. So it means a lot of money, a lot of taxes. So it can be a fresh air after long post-Brexit complications UK fintech was facing. I'm very happy for this. It's said that only London overthrown San Francisco. I would be very, very happy to see that Berlin is doing the same, Milano is doing the same, or Paris, or Amsterdam, where a lot of initiatives, fintech initiatives you can see. But let's start with London, baby steps. A good signal also that money are shifting from United States, and fintech are shifting from United States to continental Europe, which is a good signal.
Another city worth to mention is Luxembourg, because if you take a look on the financial map in the European Union, I would say two really great spots for the fintechs and innovation is definitely Berlin and for sure Luxembourg, because it has a sweet spot, still be licensed as European licensed institutions, but has a really great access for the capital and a lot of tier one banks actually are doing the business there. So that's maybe another thing that someday we can highlight in our news. And thank you for joining today. It was a pleasure to discuss with you, Dumitru. It would be great, guys, if you join us as a channel. Please subscribe. Do not hesitate to do that. Please comment, and we are looking forward to see you the next week.
Wish to all of you a very happy weekend. I hope this week we'll finish with a lot of good news on your side of a job, as it was for Revolut and other companies. And stay tuned. Bye-bye.